Welcome to the 10th Annual Chandler Sports Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony and Luncheon. The Chandler Sports Hall of Fame honors athletes, coaches, administrators, and teams who have brought recognition to Chandler through their athletic achievements. This year's outstanding class will stand side by side with previous inductees, including Zora Foley, Adam Archuleta, Lindsay Taylor, John Wren, Cody Ransom, Cameron Jordan, Dan Kuiper, Eddie Wilson, and the 1989 Chandler High School wrestling team. The Chandler Sports Hall of Fame class of 2014 is Tiffany Peterson-Burge, Jason Cassio, Lois Imshoff, Eric Ferris, Daniel Marshall, Dante Moat, and the 1999 Chandler High School Lady Wolves basketball team. Congratulations to the newest Chandler Sports Hall of Famers.
Pretty much from 12 years old all the way to when we were seniors, I played with pretty much all the girls that got inducted for the Valley Christian team a few years back. Seton wasn't known as a volleyball program then, as it is now. I was probably one of the first club players to go in, and as I went in as a freshman, more people started to play club. I was also the first volleyball player to get a full scholarship for Division I to come out of Seton. Both my mom and dad are super supportive of every sport that we play, always trying to make every tournament, tried to come out to New York to see my games. It definitely made a difference on how far I went with my sports and also with my academics, keeping on top, making sure I'm doing the right thing, making the right choices, and having your parent around, make sure that you don't get into too much trouble. And the support group too, always knowing that when you look into the stands, your parents are going to be there cheering for you. Sometimes the motivation that they would give me when they'd come out and cheer for my high school games is for any girl that I would hit in the face, my dad would give me $20. $20 when you're in high school, I'd definitely go out there and try to be a headhunter. It was fun coaching at Seton since I went to Seton, and it was quite different than when I played there, having all the players now playing club and knowing the game a lot more. So it was fun to coach there because you could run fun plays and do hard drills with the girls and they would get it. Winning 5 out of 6 championships was really fun. It's always fun winning, and when you have good players to do it and nice girls and families, it makes it enjoyable. As a coach, it's nice to see that you've made a difference in somebody's game, to help girls sort of have the same experience that I did, and having the evolution of volleyball further themselves in the sport. It's nice to have a little hand in that. Growing up in Chandler, I know a lot of people that have been inducted, and it's sort of neat to see that, wow, there's so many families that we know that had great athletic careers and are still coming back to Chandler. Even when people come away, it seems like Chandler always brings everyone back, and everyone still seems like a close-knit family. And so to be a part, being able to be recognized and being a part of that family is pretty special.
Being the small guy and being over physically powered, I guess, I always played like a chip on my shoulder, so I was always working harder than everybody, but that mentality that I had more passion and more desire, I guess, that's kind of when I developed it as a freshman, so I carried that throughout my high school career, I guess. I made the varsity team, and I came on late in the first few games, but after that I started every game, actually as a center mid, so I was pretty excited with that. Just a little guy playing center mid, but yeah. Best year we had was when I was a junior. We were playing Corona to go into the quarterfinals, and Corona was one of the better teams in state too. So we were playing them at Hamilton, and within the first few minutes I scored a goal, so it was 1-0. They ended up tying it, and then I had the assist on the second goal, and so we went up 2-1, and late in the game they tied it. So there was literally probably 30 seconds to a couple minutes left, and I scored a header, and we ended up winning to go on. So that was probably one of the best games I ever played in my life, still to this day, so it was kind of cool. If you ask my coach today, my high school coach, he'll tell you I was the guy who just made it from one 18 to the other 18. I just worked my butt off the whole time. My parents were one of the type of parents that were at every single game, and the support that I had from them is probably the reason why I had all the success, so it was nice to have that. Playing for Seattle U, I'm thinking, all right, I was a senior. I have some of the accolades. I thought I was going to be, one of the better players. I walk out there and from day one, I was back to being the freshman, the small guy again. So that year is probably the hardest year of soccer I've ever had in my life. Playing for Seattle U, the Sounders were pretty much right in our backyard. They kind of knew who I was, and then right after I was done playing my 4 years at Seattle U, I went to their tryouts, and me and my buddy were the two rookies they picked up that year. So, I mean, it went from playing a sport that I played my whole life to playing a sport and getting paid for it, which was, I was living the dream, so it was pretty sweet. I was more of the physical player, and I still hear players, my old teammates, and players I play with today, like, dude, I hate playing against you. And I think that's just my competitive spirit or passion for the game coming out. It's cool to be honored and recognized, especially with this high caliber of athletes. So it's a good feeling to have that achievement.
I was taller than everybody. Of course, being a tall female, they're going to want me to play sports. Growing up out in the country, we did everything. And I was competing against my brothers and everything. So it's just, I guess it was just a natural for me. I didn't know anything else to do. As I understand it, there were 3 female PE teachers at Chandler High. They all left. And I just won the state title. So during basketball season, Al came out, interviewed me there, and said, I'd like for you to come. I did freshman tennis. I started the badminton team. I did girls basketball, and then I did varsity and JV tennis. I started in '72, going at 6 o'clock in the morning, and in '76 we were the regional title, won the regional title. And then in '77, '78 we had back-to-back state titles. It really, really made me feel good that I was able to start something from zero, from scratch, and in that few years be so highly successful. I did not like playing second fiddle. I felt what was good for the boys should be good for the girls. And it got to a point where I looked around and I said, oh my gosh, we need to have more things for the girls. The girls were struggling, they didn't have the facilities. I've always felt a fight for equality, wherever it is. And so that's what led me to the Title IX. After that, the coaches felt that they could now go and get equal facilities, and one of the big ones was softball. The girls had locker room now, and we had better facilities for the sports. To start them from scratch, not knowing anything, and by the time they're juniors or seniors, they're competing for a state title or going for it. That is the biggest thrill. It gives me a feeling of accomplishing something, that I helped somebody out, that I could see the improvement, and it made me feel like I was being successful.
My dad put me in baseball at 5 years old, started playing t-ball, and from then on I remember I lived across the street from my little league, so it was, if I wasn't playing the game, I was at the park playing baseball sometimes. So baseball's been part of my life since I can remember. And I came here after my sophomore year of high school asked the coach if I could try out for the team, and then that was that. I was really raw when I came here. I had a lot of athleticism, but I didn't know the game very well, and that's one thing that Coach Woods helped with me a lot. I figured I'd go to college for 3 years. Loyola Marymount wanted me to come in there and be a part of the team early. It was a real honor and privilege for me to go somewhere like that. I would never see myself going to a school of that caliber, so having baseball be what took me there, I mean, I couldn't say no. The 3 years of college helped me become the player I am now. That junior year was important. That's your first draft eligible year. It changes because you know that there's people actually there watching you and watching everything you do. I mean, and that's not just your skills, it's your attitude, it's your body language, it's everything that you do out there. So, I mean, it's the first time I actually felt like I was a little bit under the microscope as far as playing, but I liked it. I took it as a challenge. All right, you guys, there's some scouts in the stands, and I'm gonna do something to impress you. I wanna do something out here that's gonna make you leave and say, I want that guy. So I've been in the minor leagues for 3.5 seasons. I was in Oklahoma City playing in AAA for the Nashville Sounds, and I had the worst game ever. So I was in my locker after the game. Then my coach called me into the office, and he's like, we're gonna work on it. We're gonna get you better. You know, you're gonna work on your swing, and you're gonna be fine. He said, he's like, so tomorrow, you know, when you work with your new hitting coach, you know, that's the first step to, you know, getting better. And I was like, huh? What do you mean? And then that's kind of where he dropped the line on me, and then it was just kind of, and then that bad game went away, and I ran outside and called everybody I could, and then I was on a plane in like 5 hours to Milwaukee. I got there before game time, put on my first big league uniform, came in to pinch hit. I grounded out, but it was a hard ground out. And I ran as hard as I could up the line, and then I never smiled as big as my life after an out. And I went in the dugout, and then I went sent back down a couple days later, but hey, I made my debut, so it was amazing. Without Hamilton High School, I mean, I don't think I'd be still playing even. I mean, like I said before, you know, when I moved out here, that's when baseball really took a turn for me, and I was able to actually learn the game and get better and become the player I am now. And a lot of that is because of this city and because of Hamilton High School and the coaches that I had there and the teammates. So it's an honor.
Basketball was always my favorite sport. I always thought that I was going to be in the NBA, but I think about my junior year is kind of when I realized that basketball wasn't going to be like the best opportunity for me. At the time, football was probably my best sport, but I didn't have the passion for football like I did for track. I like the fact that track and field, I didn't have to depend on anybody else. Like, there's a team aspect to track and field, but at the same time, when I'm on the runway jumping, it's just me. Nobody else can control what happens. I don't have to worry about competitors. I don't have to worry about anything but what I do. And pretty much I'm in control of everything that happens. So I think that's one thing that I really liked about it. Winning my first state championship in triple jump was a pretty special experience. I was actually the first individual state champion for any sport at Hamilton. I remember my mom was very proud when I won the state championship for triple jump. That's probably one of the best feelings for me in the world, is for her to be able to say that she's proud of me. I was a walk-on at Arizona, and after my freshman year, after having the success that I had, I kind of sat down with my coach and asked him about scholarship money and what I needed to do to get a scholarship. And one of the things he told me was, you have to qualify for the national championships. You have to be there and you have to do well at the national championships. Once I made it, like, that was a huge relief. And then being there and actually competing and making it past the first day, like, that was probably one of the best feelings as a college athlete, just because knowing that I came from a walk-on to finally being one of the best in the country. It was just a testament to, I guess, all the hard work and kind of the coaches that I had and all that stuff. So it was a really good feeling, and I think what made that national championship even more special was the fact that as a team we ended up finishing 4th overall. To be inducted into the Chandler Sports Hall of Fame to me is a huge honor. Just thinking about some of the athletes that I was on a team with, or that were at Hamilton the same time that I was at Hamilton, or just looking at some of the other people that are being inducted with me this year, it's a huge honor.
I grew up watching my brother play a lot, and you know, watching him out on the field, you know, it inspired me to go out there and actually do it, and more so because I was more on a track field. You know, I was the outdoors kid. You know, I was always the one running around recklessly. You know, just doing different things. So after years of watching him, I finally said, I'm gonna try out football, and I did it. I enjoyed it, and to actually go out there and do it with my brother, you know, it's a whole nother feeling. And freshman year of high school was my first year playing football. Before that, I've only really played baseball, track. I've always ran track since elementary. That's always been my sport. It was great, you know, to be able to just transition from one love to another love, and to have somebody that to lead you in that path, you know. And till this day, he tells me that he looked up to me in that model, but it's always flipped. He doesn't know, but you know, he will someday. It was a great feeling to go there and do the things that I did there, and to actually succeed and getting scholarships and noticed by so many schools. Out of all of those, I probably checked out probably about 4 different colleges, like physically went out there and took visits, and Nevada just stood out to me. The moment that I started breaking the records there and I started realizing my true potential, I wanted to reach that next goal, the NFL. And there's no more dreaming it. The fact that when you get that call